Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And just got done with the live stream summons for the new Ice Wallenstein for the DANMACHI collab. Unfortunately, I had pretty typical bad luck. 200 pity. I got her first copy at 1 fucking 90, so of course. But should you summon for this new Ice unit? And very quickly, for most people, I'm going to say no. And that is coming from a place of deep respect for your crystals, my crystals, your time, and everything in between. But there are reasons to this, which I will explain. So, first off, looking at her banner, she also has Shuna featured with her. So there are still two quote-unquote new characters on this banner, something that we've never had before. We've never had the same recurring collab character on multiple banners. So that's cool. It does give extra value, but this Shuna was literally given away for free if you could get access to the Bandai Namco web store and link your ID. So for some people, this Shuna is unnecessary, but it does give extra value. But we have obviously Ice herself, and then we have Commander Shizu, Summer Shizu, World of Fantasy Shizu, World of Fantasy Fount of Wisdom Hinata, and then Tempest Elite Rimuru. None of these characters I would consider super duper important and exciting at this point in time. Shizu still has some good usage. Tempest Elite Rimuru could still be an okay DPS, but like these other three, Hinata could also be a DPS right now. Very kind of low value, apart from being a double featured unit banner. But again, one of them was given away for free. Looking at the actual kit for Ice, actually, before we do that, first off, there's a couple things to note. One, and we'll cover this in a different video, but there is a blacksmith workshop where you can get these black crystals and you can parallel process 10 times a day. That is how you can make the gear for Ice. You have to come into the forge and forge it using those black crystals, and then you awaken said gear with more black crystals. So make sure to do that event in order to get the gear. The sword is very unique. Wind equipped by wind character, 5% attack, and then wind character single target attack, 6%. So you could do and give this to a wind character who wants a sword, and you can get a little bit extra damage. And that's not all, because there's also the combat training stage, which will give you a free shard of Ice. This is just a shard, though, so you need to have Ice to begin with to use this. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in your box and do nothing, because it's not an initial copy. But there are multiple things that you can get for this Ice that's free. Just make sure to do it. But now, looking at her kit, actually looking at it, she's a really good damage-dealing character, and that's fantastic. It's just that she's not really doing a lot for anybody else. She's a single target nuker. Her first skill gives her this very special stance for 3 turns, which gives her an extra 100% wind attack, guaranteed dodge, which doesn't make a whole butt ton of sense, and then gives her a little bit better than a Drago effect, which is going to enhance a lot of her buffs by 25%. So this wind attack at 100, with this skill activated, it's going to be 125% wind attack. And that applies to magic buff. It applies to the stacks from Bell. It applies to the stacks from Hestia. It applies to any buff that you can put on Ice herself. It will be enhanced by 25%. And then finally, it has the multi-hit state, so you get 2 extra hits per normal orb. I didn't know why they did this, but the new difficulty for Beatdown Battle has a barrier, so that's why she has this skill. It's kind of a throwaway, though. It's not very important. Her second skill stacks Weakness Strike and Wind Attack for everybody by 10%, and then every time you use a skill, you get an extra 1% that caps out at 30. So you got to use 20 skills in a fight, but then you can stack 30% Weakness Strike and 30% Wind Attack. And while that is support buffs for other units, if you're not using a multi-skill team with a lot of skill points and a lot of low-cost skills, you're never going to see this 30%. There's no team that doesn't have those that does 20 skills in like a short amount of time. So you're never realistically gonna see or benefit from multiple stacks of 30% with ice. So you're really just using her for her main skill, which is good for her and only her. And her trait is 6 combo of greens, you get extra pierce power. So it's not even like a skill point trait or protection trait. So the dupe that you get for free, I mean, is cool, but it's also not great for, like, as a support slot character for protection gauge or skill points. And that's where a lot of characters get a lot of value outside of their meta, is if you can help get more protection. So overall, she is going to do a literal butt ton of damage. Just like how Hinata from the Tails collab did a butt ton of damage. But do they really work outside of their teams to support other DPS characters? No, not really. And that is the folly of most DPS units, is that they're very selfish, they work for themselves, they want a team built around them. They do not help build a team around somebody else. She is on multiple teams, though. Dungeon Crawler, Adventurer, so you could put her with the Freerun team. Exalted Champion, so Velzard, and then Warrior's Mind. Unfortunately, both Warrior's Mind teams are physical-focused, so Shuna is not going to give Ice the kind of same amount of treatment that she would give Blanc or something, because you're not going to benefit from that physical resistance down. But you could put her there regardless. And I think she's good for dealing damage. Otherwise, she doesn't really bring a lot of value. But if you have the DANMACHI team, and if you have Hestia and Bell and Shuna, and no one else, you will be in a conundrum because you don't do a lot of damage. You lack a DPS, especially if you did not pull Exalted Champion Milim from this banner as well. If you do have Milim, you could probably skip Ice, and you don't have to go into, like, the Nether difficulty for beatdown battle, because that's ridiculous. That's so much damage. But you could get away with doing EX2s and a lot of the other stages just with this Milim as your DPS character. But if you did not pull this Milim, or even the Shuna right here, and you just have the 3 new characters, you have no dedicated DPS, which will then lead you to thinking, yeah, I kind of want to pull for Ice. But remember, there is one more banner coming out, a literal week from today. So if we look at the event calendar, DANMACHI Collab Part 3 starts on the 11th/12th. That is literally next Thursday for me. And that will be Ryu. Like, it will be Ryu. It's guaranteed to be Ryu. And she is most likely going to be another DPS character. Probably an AoE character, but she might have better skills, more suited for not just herself, but for the team and other teams, and that could bring a lot more value. So if you are good with your current build, and you don't need a win DPS character right stat now, then I would probably say hold off on summoning for Ice, because at least wait until Ryu comes out, see what she does, and if she ends up being a much better character than Ice, then you could summon for her, still get a DPS character that's wind, but also have more value overall in terms of other team support and AoE damage, which is a lot more important for most content nowadays, being AoE. So if you really love Ice, if waifu over meta is your thing, then by all means, summon for her. You do not get a free multi for her. We do get a login bonus, part 2 for Hestia, but they are just 20 bitch tickets. They are not tickets for the Ice banner directly. And I'm checking Twitter right now to see if there's a social media campaign. Well, let's find out. No, there's not. Okay. So we are not going to be getting any extra tickets or things to summon for Ice herself. It is just crystals or the premium tickets or the black crystals, because they brought those. So I really don't think you should summon for Ice right now unless waifu over meta is a thing for you. I at least think that you should wait next week for Ryu, because you can probably get away with using other units to replace Ice for a short while. But that's my advice. You don't have to listen to it. We do get free gear. We do get that free dupe of her, free things I love. So congrats to the devs for giving away quite a bit of free stuff this collab. They kind of did the opposite of what they did for Tails, which I am grateful for. People care about this more than Tails. But if you did summon for Ice because she's waifu, or you just wanted her to complete the FOMO meta, let me know how your summons went in the comments below. But for 99% of players, you probably should not summon for Ice. Even if you're a new player, if you got Shuna, Bell, Hestia, and the Exalted Champion Milim, then you're gonna be fine. So you don't need this Ice right now. So I think everyone should just chill out and wait for Banner 3 next Thursday, the 11th/12th. But again, that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.